Our top stories tonight. Leaders at the ANC policy conference make it clear that radical economic transformation has to happen. Disaster hit residents of Imizamo Yethu informal settlement embark on a destructive protest. This is eNEWS Direct Weekend Edition. I'm Flo Ladoba. A very good evening to you.
Hi, I'm Carmen Reddy.
You can track our main stories using the following hashtags: ANC, NPC and Imizamo Yethu.
You can comment on any of our stories by following us on Facebook and Twitter at eNEWS Direct, or check out our content on our website eNCA.com/direct.
But first, we start here. It's the second day of the ANC's National Policy Conference. Delegates have converged at Nasrec in Johannesburg to debate policy issues ahead of the party's December elective conference. To give us the latest on the story, we're joined by our senior anchor, Vuyo Mvoko, who joins us live from the Nasrec Centre. Good evening to you, Vuyo. Well, Minister Jeff Radebe did outline progress of the implementation of the NDP. What progress was he speaking of at the press briefing, and really what stood out from his speech today?
Well, yes, indeed. I mean, the head of policy within the ANC, Jeff Radebe, gave that briefing where, in essence, he seemed to be saying that everything is under control. The ANC is on top of issues, and they believe that they have made sufficient progress given where we are as a country. Of course, journalists asked quite a number of deep and penetrating questions, given the situation we are in as a country, economically, but also in terms of social service delivery. We're still seeing schools, mud schools in rural parts of our country. So how can they account for the fact that they haven't in fact delivered? They are not where they were supposed to be by now. Well, he kept on saying or driving through a positive message that says they are on track. Yes, there have been delays in certain areas, but they are doing the best that the ANC government can possibly do. But obviously the skeptics that journalists are who filled that room weren't convinced. For in reality, there were really no convincing answers to that. But of course, another big issue is the atmosphere within which the ANC government has to operate now. There is the issue of state capture and this Gupta family influence. There is the issue of the emails, issues that remain unresolved. And there seems to be a great deal of denial, especially on the part of the so-called Premier League that is seen to be close to President Jacob Zuma. But today, of course, being the first real, if we may put it like that, opportunity that delegates got to begin to confront those issues. We're not sure at this stage as to whose word really is sort of winning at the end of the day. I think that will be clearer tomorrow. But one thing is certain: it is that the group of people that comprise of a so-called Premier League, but also the women's and youth leagues, are putting up a very big fight to make sure that their arguments win at the end of the day. And they are the ones who are accused by other groups of
we have to wrap it up. We have to wrap it up very quickly.
Don't think is going to take
we have to wrap it up very quickly. Just very quickly, what else is on the agenda for the rest of the day and the rest of the night, I suppose, actually?
Well, they're going to get into the detail of what should happen. In other words, what happens in preparation for the elective conference. That elective conference, of course, is the one that will approve the recommendations that will come out of this policy conference. So it's issues like what should happen to turn the economy around, what should happen. So all the commissions that are taking place now will feed onto that. So from tomorrow, they will go area by area: the economy, social service delivery, the justice system, and so on.
All right, Vuemvoko, thank you very much for that. He's, of course, at Nasrec Centre right now, where that ANC National Policy Conference is currently taking place. Well, radical economic transformation is one of the issues of contention at the policy conference. Government ministers believe there's no way around it. They've been hammering the point home to business leaders and entrepreneurs, saying disruptive changes must be made to the economy so that the majority of South Africans benefit. The ANC's Treasurer General addressed a progressive business forum breakfast meeting this morning.
Here comes the phrase that we're all using. We've got to have a radical approach to economics. We can't be carried on as we have been because the changes that we're going to face are disruptive.
In brief, the fourth industrial revolution is already upon us. South Africa's economic policy must reflect this global shift, or we're going to miss out. The ANC's business leaders say that in attaining economic growth going forward, transformation can't be an afterthought.
Radical socio-economic transformation policies that would change the structure, the systems, institutions and patterns of ownership, management and control of the economy.
What we've been told is that this is going to bring about disruptive change. Not incremental change, but radical disruptive change. I think this is the point.
The ANC's Treasurer General similarly says if the country doesn't get radical about transformation and patterns of ownership, the gap between the haves and the have-nots will grow. Change, he says, means working together.
We need to operate as one unit. When government goes there, business goes there, the banks go there, everybody goes there, and we go into one place, hand as a pack, as South Africa Inc. That's what we need to do.
The Ministers of Finance and Trade and Industry certainly singing off the same hymn sheet. Radical action, they say, is needed to transform South Africa's economy in a very difficult low-growth environment. This MK vet and businessman says radical economic transformation to him means
it is intervention in this economy on all levels. Poverty, structural infrastructure, and more importantly, how do we bring people back to our beautiful country to make it investable? In other words, what is the fruit in the basket of South Africa to radically transform our economy? And it's got to stop at rhetoric and it's got to go to implementation.
In solving the country's economic woes, Davies wants to start by bridging the consumer and investor trust deficit in the country. Michael Apple, Johannesburg.
Imizamo Yethu informal settlement residents are angry about the slow pace of rebuilding in the area. They've clashed with police and destroyed some of their temporary structures. The residents have been living in the structures following devastating fires and a storm in recent months. They say they won't back down until Cape Town Mayor Patricia meets with them.
Angry protesters destroying structures and pelting police with stones. Residents are frustrated at the slow pace of rebuilding. They also claim some people who are not fire victims appear to be receiving preferential treatment.
After the fire of March, up until today, people have been displaced, and we have an ongoing discussion with the city and the plan as to how do we go about to do the super blocking in the area. That has been a process that has been unfolding slowly. The concern that now the residents are having is whereby a group of 15 or 20 people are given a special treatment over the hundreds of people that have been affected by fire, where they are going to be given 6x6 structures, whereas the people that were affected by fire have been given 3x3 structures with no services.
But city officials say they're surprised at the protest because they're busy re-establishing the informal settlement and also constructing formal housing.
There is ongoing communication, and at this point it's hard for me to understand what prompted this reaction, given that there has been communication around this issue, including the court order that we received and what the conditions of that court order that were imposed on us. And we are on the scene now, again trying to meet with them to establish some calm.
Residents say they will not rest until the mayor talks to them. Artie Narsi, Cape Town.
South African Airways has received yet another bailout. The government has transferred funds to the ailing national carrier to help pay back a 2.3 billion rand loan to Standard Chartered Bank. Without the bailout, the airline would have defaulted on its debt. Government says this would have resulted in elevated perceptions of risk related to the rest of SAA's debt, and says the financial lifeline is a last resort. It says it's doing everything in its power to ensure that the airline's turnaround strategy is implemented. SAA has received a number of bailouts over the years. It's reported a loss of 734 million rand for the months of April and May. Well, a Johannesburg woman's lengthy battle to reclaim her identity appears to be over. Her original ID number was registered under someone else's name. Without an identity document, she wasn't able to keep her job. The woman also had to register her children as the offspring of family members.
Even emsebenzini bakhuluma ngami bathi mina ngiyasifihla angisi South African. Kungiphatha kanjani kabuhlungu mina because ngiyazazi ukuthi I'm a South African.
Zinhle Ntshangase has been battling to get her South African identity document since 2005. This is a copy of her birth certificate. On it is a South African ID number. But she says repeated applications for a barcoded ID have been unsuccessful.
Kubuhlungu kakhulu kimi because mina ngumuntu othanda i-study. Matric yami ngiyibhale kabuhlungu because ngiyibhalile ngayi-drop out because befuna i-ID esikoleni. Bekumele ukuthi everyday ngihambe ngiyosayina police station ngisayine out. Ngabona ukuthi hayi it can work ngayekela esikoleni. Ngagcina ngasamceda ku-matric wami.
Now the problem is affecting her children.
Nabantwana bami abakho registers under mina. First born yami uregister umama because umama besaphila. Second born uregister sister wami. Third born akazange register.
Ntshangase managed to find work as a waitress in 2010 but has never been able to secure permanent employment. Now the company she worked for has had to let her go because she cannot produce crucial documents.
Emsebenzini into abangiyekisele yona bafuna i-SARS number. SARS number khona ukuyeza unganayo lokho unganayo ID. Ama bank details bengisebenzisa kakhazini wami.
eNCA took up the matter with Home Affairs on Friday. She's since been issued with a new ID number which will allow her to finally apply for an identity document. Zikhona Shona, Johannesburg.
Time for a look at international news now. At least 17 people have been injured in a shooting at a nightclub in the US. Some of the victims are teenagers who were attending a concert at a club in Arkansas. It's not yet clear whether anyone has been apprehended. It's the second shooting in the US in 2 days. Thanks for staying with us. In our entertainment news now, it's one of the most glamorous days on the South African social calendar. This year's Vodacom Durban July has been both colourful and vibrant. And while it is a horse racing event, it's arguable that some of the extravagant outfits stole the show.
The entrances at the
Fashionistas from across the country have put their best foot forward. Judges creations that were not only trendy and beautiful, but also chic, with a subtle integration of the theme. It seems they were spoilt for choice, with a wide range of interpretations for the color of magic theme.
Actually, I feel like a queen. I feel like a queen. I feel like this is power to me. The cape, the dress makes me very elegant. So I'm feeling very good today. Actually, this is my first time coming here, but already I'm jamming to the music and walking around here and showcasing this gun is really important to me.
My designer went for a little bit of a red and black, and just to have quite a striking outfit, just for it to be magical, But I don't know too much about the inspiration, but I'm feeling very confident in the outfit. I think she's done a great job. And I'm excited. I'm excited for the experience.
This impeccable design is created by Yasmin Sangle. She wanted to create something that visually expresses how exotic the color of magic is by incorporating different colors and bling and this cape.
The thing is, if you dress up well, you feel very confident. And that's exactly what I feel like so now. It was just sourcing the fabric and putting the whole design together. It took me at least about 3 weeks.
Close to 55,000 spectators have spent the day at Africa's premier horse racing event. Chefs work tirelessly to prepare tens of thousands of meals for VIP guests hosted in luxurious hospitality tents. The extravagant fanfare is set to boost eThekwini municipality's coffers by a whopping 260 million rand and has created 600 temporary jobs. And it's a mammoth task putting the event together.
The actual setup of the marquee village and things like that starts probably about 2 weeks ago or 2 weeks before the event and really goes crazy in the final 3 days before race day. Thousands of people are involved in setting up, and on the staff on the day is probably in the vicinity of 5,000.
Representatives from Europe and the SADC region are being hosted by Tourism KZN. Judith Subin, Durban.
All right, that's your entertainment news for tonight. After the break, Joel Guy brings you your weather forecast. Do stay with us.
Welcome to the Weather Center. We started off Saturday with this band of cloud giving us isolated showers over the central and southeastern areas, but the cloud has since left our shores, leaving us with mostly cloud-free skies across the bulk of South Africa. But off the west coast, we are looking at quite a lot of cloud ahead of this not-so-organized cold front that is quickly edging towards the west coast. Now, we are expecting partly cloudy skies for your Sunday for parts of northeastern, central and southeastern South Africa, where there is a chance of thundershowers for the eastern areas of the Eastern Cape and the southern parts of the Free State. The showers could also spill into the westernmost parts of KwaZulu-Natal late in the evening. It's going to be partly cloudy over the western parts of the country as well as much of the Western Cape, where we have a chance of light afternoon rain showers along the southwest coastline and the adjacent interior. Mostly sunny skies are forecast over much of the western interior. Now, KwaZulu-Natal is going to be sunny for much of your Sunday with warm afternoon temperatures. Durban, Port Shepstone and Kokstad all peaking at around 25 degrees. Partly cloudy skies are forecast for the Eastern Cape with thundershowers for the eastern areas. East London, Bishop and Port Alfred will all peak at around 23 degrees. It's also going to be partly cloudy for much of the Western Cape with light rain in the afternoon for the west coast. Cape Town and Langaban both reaching highs of around 17 degrees. Mostly sunny and mild to warm weather is forecast for the eastern parts of the Northern Cape. It's going to be partly cloudy and cooler for the western sections. We're also going to see patches of cloud overhead across much of the Free State with a chance of thundershowers for the southern areas. A mostly sunny and warm Sunday is forecast across the northwest. We could see a few patches of cloud in places across the Limpopo province, Polokwane peaking at around 22 degrees. A bit of cloud is also expected to creep into the easternmost parts of Mpumalanga. Otherwise, it's going to be mostly sunny and mild across the Highveld areas. Just a bit of cloud overhead for Gauteng, Pretoria, reaching a high of around 24 degrees. On Monday, we are going to have light rain and drizzle around Port Elizabeth and East London, rain showers for the eastern parts of South Africa. Then on Tuesday, there is a chance of light rain and drizzle for the eastern areas.
All right, here's a recap of your top stories. Leaders at the ANC Policy Conference make it clear that radical economic transformation has to happen. Disaster hit residents of Imizamo Yethu informal settlement embark on a destructive protest. Well, that's a wrap from the eNEWS Direct team.
Up next is The Incredibles.
To share your views, you can send an email to enewsdirect@etv.co.za
or chat to us on Twitter and Facebook at eNEWS Direct.
Until next time, have a lovely evening. Cheers.